let's see what we have to begin with. We have when this green flag is clicked, we're going to show the bananas, and when this sprite is clicked, we're going to broadcast screen 2. Same for the cheese puffs. And this is just a title for now. I'll explain in a minute. So what this means is when we click the green flag, these show up. When we click on one of these, they go away. Show up, go away. And that applies to both. What is a variable? A variable is anything you want it to be. Go down to the variables category. We're going to click make a variable. Let's call this good nutrition points. Click OK. And now the good nutrition point shows up on the screen there. We can turn it off if we want, but we want to show it actually. And what we're going to do is use this sprite, that's the title here, to actually set the good nutrition points to 0. In other words, when the game starts, we want them to be 0. When we click on the bananas, we want to change the nutrition points by 1. Let's try that. So click on the banana, nutrition points go up. Right now, when we click on the cheese puffs, nutrition points do not go up. We need to change that. So go to the cheese puffs, and we're going to change nutrition points by -1. Start, cheese puffs, -1. Now how are we going to do this with multiple food items? You're going to choose a new food sprite. So let's do an apple. And click on food. Let's try cake. We have cake and apple. Now it doesn't matter which side you put them on. As you make your game, you're going to decide where they go. But for now, I'm going to put them on the same side. Instead of reprogramming the apple and the cake, we can do is we can copy information. So let's take these 3 things and apply it to the apple. So let's go over to apple, drag and drop right on top of the apple, make sure it's there. It did not go there. Where did it go? Let's try it again. So let's go to the apple, drag and drop onto the apple. There it is. And the same for these. But the difference is what we're going to change, instead of broadcast screen 2 and receive screen 2, we're going to do new message, screen 3. And then when I receive screen 3, hide. And do the same for the cake. So take the cheese puffs, drag this onto the cake. If you have trouble like I am, move the cake over, then drag your code onto the cake. Alright, same thing, you're going to change this to screen 3 and this to screen 3. Now, when we run it, that should not happen. When we click the flag, this is what happens. They both show up. What needs to change? We need to hide. So the cake and the apple should not show in the beginning. They should be hidden. Let's try that. And also the cake and the apple need to show on screen 2. That's correct, screen 2. Cake and apple show on screen 2. Here we go. Now we have one more step. We need to make these hide on screen 3. So we need to duplicate this. And hide on screen 3. And for the cake, here we go. Now, moving forward, we want to use the same code for a few more food items. So one way is to drag each one of these over. Instead, let's try taking the cake, putting it in the backpack. And we'll do the apple, put it in the backpack. And what this does is it puts it in a backpack that you can reuse in the future. So I'm going to take this apple and I'm going to bring it back. So now I have a copy. I'm going to use that copy, but I'm going to change its costume from an apple to fruit platter. And obviously it's too big, so let's resize this down. Vector instead of bitmap, so you can size it down. I'm going to delete this. And then for the code, we're going to say when I receive screen 3 show, and we need to create a new screen 4. And hide on screen 4. We do the same for the cake. Drag the cake out. Modify the costume. Donut. And let's modify the code. So we want this to appear in screen 3 and disappear screen 4. And we want to make sure when it's clicked that it broadcasts screen 4. Let's try it. Screen 1, screen 2, screen 3, screen 4. Alright, let's say when you get to the Apple screen, or screen 2, you want to move these. You want to have them different sides. Well, the problem is when you click on the apple, it goes to the next screen. That's not very helpful. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the apple first, the code, and we're going to remove these two things temporarily. So just take them off like that. And the cake as well. So when we get to them, we can move them and the code will not be affected. We can go back to the cake, reapply the code, go back to the apple, reapply the code. And here we go. So there you have it. What we're doing here is we're using multiple screens by using the broadcast feature built into Sprite. The broadcast feature is a trigger. It triggers events to happen. So we want to trigger the change of score. We want to trigger hide and show. Now let's take it one step further. Let's have these objects move around the screen. To do that, we're going to do glide to random position. Under control, and we're going to use forever and apply it to the green flag. Now, oops, I did it to the cake. So let's see. There it is. Chase the cake down, chase it, chase it, chase it. Oh, it's moving pretty fast. If we want to slow it down, we add seconds to it. So let's add 4 seconds to it, and let's see. There it is. Go for the cake. Alright, so now you have it. You're making a game where you're trying to get the food, get points. Good luck.